Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, gang? I am glad you are here. It is Wednesday. You know what time it is. It is 5 o'clock. We're gonna give people some time to get in the building. Hey, by all means, come on in. Come on in. As soon as you come in, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's put myself up here on the big screen. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button because you know we're gonna get started here in just a little bit, and you know how I do it right before we get ready to get started. I typically will always, almost always, put some music on. I see that live, laugh, love. Glad you're here. That's money. Hey, Tis, hey Tish, I see you. Tish Money 25. I see you in the building. We got June Brown in the building. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody come on in. As soon as you come on in, hit the like button. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get the color wave going on over here on my mic. There we go. I got the color wave going on and then it just kind of disappears. You got to worry about seeing flashes of red. While we do that, you know how I like to do, give a little bit of time with a little bit of music while we get going. And let's see. What we want to play today. What do we want to play today? And we want to play today. We want to play today. Let's put this on right here. Let's go. Waiting for it to get started. Wait for it to get started. Waiting for it to get started. Hey, yep. So we can go ahead and get started here in just a little bit, In the meantime, between time, let me send this message out. I got you. Let's see. Hey, 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 hey. I said, hey, 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 hey. Yep. We on fire today, y'all. We on fire. We rocking. Sock 'em, rock 'em, robot. Come in the building, hit the like button. Come in the building and hit the like button. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Let's see. I'm sending the link to a sister friend of mine who said she heard about my podcast and hadn't had a chance to come and check me out. So I am sending it to her right now. All right, I had to send that off. Y'all. I had to send that off. Fire it up. Hey, Jonathan Gonzalez, I see you in the building. Who else we got in the building? We got TW7525 in the building. Who else to roll through here since my head has been in this phone? We already got June Brown. Yeah, come on in the building. Hit the like button. Hey, it's always a party going on. Do not hesitate to come to the party. Come to the party. You know, I like to pull myself down so y'all can see my artwork. Boom, there we go. Keep it cute. Let's see here. Sending something out. It's always something. Come in the building, hit the like button. All right. We're almost there. Y'all know I like to give 5 minutes. If everybody give 5 minutes to get some people in the building. They slowly coming in. I don't know why they slowly coming in, but they're slowly coming in. I'll take that. No worries, no problems. I don't want no problems. Let's see if I can get this background from, let's see what color. Did I keep it that color? Do I keep it that color? Or do I come in and blend it in with this? Let's blend it in with this. This works fine for me. There we go. All right. All things WNBA right now. Tony, I got some info for you. Hey, send it to me. You sending it to me? You sending it to my DM? What you got for me? Jonathan, what you got for me? Who else got some info for me? Send it to my DM right now. Send it to my DM. You know I'm gonna put it up. You know I'm gonna put it up. Yeah. Let's go. Light it up. Light it up. All right. Let's bring the music down a little bit. We're gonna bring that down just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. There we go. So that way you can hear me. I'm gonna send it to you on the chat instead. Okay, let me go to my channel so that way I can pull it, because I have to pull it from my channel versus the StreamYard chat. So I gotta go to my channel. So let me hit my channel and let me pull it up. All right, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. In the meantime, guys, look, here's where we are. Welcome back to CourtVision with SoPrettyToni. You know, you come here, we are going to talk straight facts. Not always perfect, but at the end of the day, we rise, right? We come straight from there, and we get you the best and the most accurate information that we possibly can without all of the other dramas surrounding the issues. Now, there's a lot going on in the W, and so today is one of them days where I'm gonna be pulling some stuff that you guys send me, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about it, because it's not enough for us to continuously go through some silly things. Let me click on it on the chat here for my channel, so that way I can pull. If you guys send me something in the chat, I can pull it from here. It is circling and pulling up. Look, there's a few of you guys in here. For the amount of people that's in here, I should have that many thumbs up. Hit the like button. Go ahead, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Okay, so I'm in there now, Jonathan. So whenever you're ready to send it to me, just go ahead and send it. Let's see, Atlanta Dream brought back Dory Kimbrough. And we might get not we might get Lanny Hamilton. That's gonna be interesting. That right there would be a nice addition, to be honest with you. We already got Hamilton. We already got Kimbrough back. It was nice to have Kimbrough, but it'd also be good to have Hamilton come in the building, considering the right bodies, not all bodies, but the right bodies is the best body. And that's all we want to talk about. That's all we want to talk about. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. When you get that and you got that info for me, just put it in the chat and I will pull it on up and we can move forward. Anybody else got that sentiments that we may be getting Lanny Hamilton? I would like that. I would like to know that, because right now she is not being utilized properly. I did say the other day that she played like dumpster juice, which she absolutely truly did. But guys, don't take that stuff so personal, okay? Dumpster juice just means that they didn't play well. That's just one of the terms that I like to use when people are just not doing what they're supposed to, or they're not contributing, or they're just simply playing bad. As you know, we critique some of the best over here. We don't pick and choose, and we don't get in our feelings about who we choose and when we need to choose to get the right information, and talk about those that don't and won't produce it. I mean, it is what it is, right? Now, again, welcome back to my show, guys. Welcome back. In this episode, you see what it is. We're talking all things WNBA. Is it at a crossroad? And the reason why that's a question, I put that there. It's like a opening but question type of sentiment. And as we put that up there, it's to say, when I'm asking, are we at a crossroad? Is this the greatest season in the league, in league history? because we know that we've had some great basketball, especially when the season first opened. You know, the opener of the season, you get some straight dogs in the building, and they all come out here and they barking loud as they can possibly bark. When they're doing they roll through and they'll hit you with that wild punch, right? But the crossroads part is the agendas that we have out there and the narratives that we have out there. So let me just go ahead and turn this off, because I tend to have music on, but let's just turn it off for a while and just get clear so y'all can hear me extremely clear. For the amount of people that's in the building, please make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button as soon as you come in the room, and that way we don't have to ask you again. It would be nice of you. It helps my channel. It helps with the algorithm. Plus, when this show is over, please make sure you go back to the video, and underneath or next to the arrow where the thumbs up, thumbs down, there's an arrow. There's some 3 little dots. If the hype doesn't already pop up, click on that and you're going to see the word hype. So you can please hype this video. I need you to hype this video and get it in the algorithm rotation. Okay. You hype that video, you do me that favor. I greatly appreciate it. Let's move forward. Let's see what else we got in here. What's going on, big dog? I see you in the building. We got Brian Lewis. She wins. Who else enrolled in here? We got Auntie Fee. Oh, hey, we got Sierra Carter 2210 in the building. It says, what are your thoughts on the congressional sending letter to Kathy? The Congress letter, and that is something that we are going to talk about today, and I'm glad you put that up, and we can hit that first. So let's hit that first. As a matter of fact, I have that saved. Let me go to it. That letter going out to me is just, it's ridiculous. I don't know how many times we have to endure outside noise when it comes to the W. I have absolutely no clue why this consistently happens, that we have to deal with this. It's mind-blowing. It's out of this world, to be honest with you. I think them getting involved, trying to make this a thing that's not a thing, is going to cause some issues. At the same time, they don't realize that they are hurting Caitlin when they do that. They're not doing that on her behalf or to make things better for her. They're actually causing issues with her. And I don't think that she is, this isn't something that she wants. This is something that she's asking for. She just wants to play the game of basketball. I just really want people to just come off of her like that. I'm not saying that she has done the best, been the best PR person that they need for the league right now. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm not saying that there's more than none, that she is the spokesperson to whom they say is the leader, the future of and the franchise of the WNBA. They're putting so much on her, and I just don't know how much she can handle this. And I say that because she's not an Angel Reese, right? She's not someone that you guys can talk about the sentiments that they put out about the negativity when it comes to her. Those are things that is hard, extremely hard for Caitlin to deal with. But my question is, okay, but why is it okay for everybody else? Why? I don't think that it should be okay for everybody else. The same thing that Caitlin is going through right now, Angel Reese has had to endure for 3 years, and I'm not going to stop saying it. Everybody needs to leave Caitlin alone. I totally agree with you. I agree that they probably need to leave her alone, but they're not going to leave her alone. They're not. Because to mess with everybody else in the league is to bring her name up, and somehow that equates to a problem for CC. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel sorry for her. Just like I felt sorry that I feel sorry that it's going things that are happening to Angel. I feel sorry that that's happening. I think that all of this stuff is absolutely and truly ridiculous, and there's not one individual in this world that I'm going to say that is just that's right at all. The no calls, the plan, the pressures. In this instance, you're saying that nobody should never touch Caitlin. Caitlin should be able to play however she wants to play. Nobody shouldn't say anything to her. They should clear the way, the pathway when she comes up the floor. Like just different things like that. I don't understand what type of league they think this is. Because you would not ask that shit of a basketball, of a NBA player. You wouldn't ask that shit for an NFL player. You wouldn't ask that for nobody. So why are we doing it now? Why is it important for you guys to make the noise for her in this endeavor? This is a problem for the league. And the only way this gets fixed, is typically the league has to fix it. Let me put myself up here. The league has to fix it. Without the league fixing it, you're going to constantly have this problem. Toni, let's see, it says, Toni, if she didn't like the attention, she should do something about it. She absolutely should do something about it. I mean, the thing is, guys, I don't think she knows how. She hasn't had to navigate it before, right? When you're somebody that's had the opportunity to just do absolutely whatever you want, and then people just come in your defense and they protect you, and then they tell you don't speak out on the other things because it's going to make you money. Don't, and this is allegedly, right? Situation with you and Angel, that's gonna line your pocket. Look, we're gonna do this. I need you to do that. And in the meantime, I need you to be quiet. You just play the game. So all the stuff that Caitlin has allowed to happen since she's the franchise, right? Let's listen to me good. She's the franchise, right? So if she's the franchise, why did you let people do and say what they do to Angel? Because essentially, if you're the fresh franchise, this is a player that's in your franchise. And do you want that player in your franchise to go through what has had to endure because you made money off of it, right? Everybody knows that Caitlin has made money off of that. And whoever don't know that is a lie. Trust me, they know that 100%. She's made money off of it, right? Portnoy, all those guys, these different channels that just everything WNBA, as long as Angel Reese is in the WNBA, is going to be her name. It just doesn't matter, but it will not be in a positive light unless it's coming from people who are actually genuine and enjoy watching the game and is watching the game for exactly what it is. When it comes to Caitlin, I just feel that Caitlin doesn't understand the difference. There go my girl in the building. What's going on? My sister. Hey, guys, in the chat, make sure you guys welcome my sister, my friend, Lady Viv Lamar. Hey, welcome her in the chat, and y'all better be nice. Mind you, she has a great basketball mind. So if y'all got some questions for her, I don't know if you've been watching lately, my sister, but I'm telling you, it's a whirlwind. But I am glad you're in the building. She said, hey, Coach Toni was my daughter's coach. Yes, I was your daughter's coach. And guys, I'm going to get her daughter is like my baby. It's like my baby. Boy, look here. Oh, Shanice. Every time I think about that, oh, Shanice, Miss Kamikaze, that was one of my favorite players. Her, and you guys already, I talked about Cara Lambert, who's playing overseas. You guys got to see her last year. She was picked up on a 10-day contract with Indiana Fever. So between those two, those are my two babies right there. I'm glad you're in the building, my sister. I'm glad you're in the building. So, we've had some great times, enjoyed coaching your baby, enjoyed our friendship, sisterhood. I appreciate you to the fullest. But let's get back to good old Caitlin, right? The question was, what did I think about the petition going around from Congress and their little thing they got going on? For those that's just getting in the building, I'm glad you're in the building there, L504. Who else they hit the building? We got Keisha Posey in the building. We got Dexter in the building. Look, you come in the building. Hey, MSL, I sent you the link. You know where it is. You know how we always put it. It's in there. I don't know if ADP made it, but ADP has the link as well. Who else is in the building? We got local Ion. Let's see, Leon. That's 5285 in the building. I'm glad you guys in the building. They say Trump is a. Hey, I'm not. Look, I can't get in that political stance. I see you. I see you live, laugh, love. You know me. For what I do, I can't get into that. Right. Once I finish doing what I'm doing, I'll talk it with you all day long. But Caitlin doesn't know how. I know her PR team has helped her navigate through the situation where they did this thing between her and Angel, and she made a lot of money off of it, right? Now she's in a situation where she's feeling the tug of war that Angel has had to feel for the last 3 years, right? When you think about it, her last year at LSU, so her second year at LSU, from the moment they won a championship, so she went through a whole year like that. Angel had the opportunity to go through what Caitlin is going through right now, the depression, the not knowing how to deal with it, taking time off, different things like that. She did that her second year at LSU. Also, like I said, she had a third year, but she chose to go into the W, which was something that we're all grateful that she did. Like she said, she did everything she wanted to do in college, and she didn't need to stay another year. Although she had a COVID year, she didn't need to stay. Plus, she was graduating, so why stay? And she wanted a challenge, so she came into the W. The W is where she is, and she's been prolific ever since she's been in the W. Throughout the entire realm of noise that is going on surrounding her, there's always somebody out there saying something negative. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, right? We get to see the negative stuff, but there is quite a bit of positive stuff out there for Angel. It's just when we get into the YouTube world and the social media world, you get on Twitter and X and those things, you always get to see more of the negativity versus the positive when it comes to Angel. But of course, Angel has learned to wear it on her shoulders. She has learned to shoulder the brunt of it all. And now it's like she doesn't care what you say. What did she say? Oh, yeah, she's like, them people online, they're not real. I mean, we're real people, but I understand where she's coming from with that, right? You don't allow it to affect you anymore, right? So people can have all the noise in the world. And I'm going to use my baby Shanice as an example, right? Hey, Viv, if you don't mind, I'm going to use your baby girl as an example. While coaching her, and I'm not going to get too deep in it, but it's like, hey, we had 3-4 teams, right? You got the lead team, you got the next team, you got a developmental team, and in between there, you got a team that balances out, and then you got them by age group, right? Me personally, Shanice is one of those players, one of those point guards that I just saw so much in her. And this is why we talk about Jordan Canada, and somebody's like, oh, you advocating for Jordan. I'm a point guard's point guard. I'm about point guards and how well they play, how they maneuver, when they get the ball out their hand, when's the perfect time to shoot, when it's the right time to pass, and then they got to defend, right? Period. Shanice had all of those, and she was a very good three-point shooter, right? But trying to maneuver between her, and I already talked to you guys about some of the other players, maneuvering her amongst other players, and that's where Jordan Canada comes in, because you guys say, oh, Jordan Canada, man. We do. We all sit up here, and tomorrow I'm probably going to pull the brim of my hat or pull my locks. I got them twisted and braided up right now. They just braided in two braids, two people long stocking braids, right? But, man, I don't want to have to pull no lock out of my head tomorrow fooling around with Jordan Canada. I still like Jordan Canada. There's some good things about her game that she's doing that I like. But then it turns around into the negativity. And this brings me back to CC. But before I get back to CC, let me finish my soliloquy about Shanice. Shanice went to college. She had a great year in one school, transferred to university, took that team all the way to Sweet 16 when they weren't even thought of. And that's a prolific point guard to me, right? If you can take a team, a place that they've never been before, then you've done your job. And that's what I love about Shanice. So I wanted to get that out. Like I said, I got my sister Viv in here, and I wanted to make sure I put that out because it is an example of where we are with Jordan Canada and the Atlanta Dream, right? Jordan Canada sometimes kind of seemed like her head is down. She's small. She can't see. During the time she needs to let the ball go. And so she's doing things that we all get extremely frustrated with seeing because we need her to get the ball out of her hands, stop going to the cup all the time, and just utilize the other four players on the floor, i.e. play inside out, which has worked for them. And every time they've done that, they've went on great runs, and the bigs have helped them win the games. Allow yourself to get the guards in better positions to shoot the ball, to have a better look at the rim. Coming down, jacking it up can sometimes be a nuisance, and that's what we are. But then we get back to the negativity surrounding Caitlin, right? And I'm saying that because guess what? Caitlin's going to play in this next game, but the game following that, when they go to, she's going to play against the Sparks. She was ruled not to play. Then she's available to play in the Sparks game, but will sit out for the Mercury game. You see how that sounds? To me, that sounds weird. Says I agree. CC is mega. I'm not getting y'all mega conversation down there in the chat. Not at all. But people who are mentally tough, mentally strong, you guys see that in Angel all the time, right? Because like she said, and I don't like it, and I respond to her message on Threads that she put, she expect to be disrespected. But for her teammates, i.e. Ryan and Leash, not have the opportunity to be a starter and an all-star. Now, mind you, we just got the news yesterday. All three of them are in the all-star, but they're, reserves. Nevertheless, they're there. They're part of all-star. Still, I get where she was coming from, but just the lingo of saying, I expect to be disrespected. Don't treat my teammates like that because you choose to disrespect me. And I'm going to tell you this, chat, answer that. What's up, Goon? I'm glad you in the building. Answer this. Do you think, and it's very obvious, right? But this is for people who are in the chat that don't typically understand what we're talking about when we say stuff like this, right? I watched the show. I'll get to that show in a minute. That don't understand what we're talking about when we say wherever Angel and Caitlin are, they're such high-profile players. No matter what they do or what they say, it's going to be critiqued a particular way, whether it's high or it's low, whether it's positive or it's negative. There is no in between. You're going to get up or down with those two. And so the notion was Caitlin needed to leave Fever. Why? Why she needs to leave Fever? Wherever she goes, it's going to be the same thing. So this is a team that she's invested in. This is a team that she's a part of. So let them figure it out. It won't change. I think maybe it could be a nuance and a change for her, depending where she goes, but still the same fan base that she has that thinks that everybody in the league should bow down, get on their knees and bow at Caitlin's feet while she play, is still going to follow her even there. I see you. I got you, MSL. Hold on. I got you. She play. It's still. What's up, MSL? I see you.
I am fine, Tony. I see you. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. This is a topic that I needed to bring up because It's all over social media, and you get tired sometimes. But I think,
I know you do, Tony. I know you
I
do.
think this right here though is a moment for discussion, because when you got Congress embedding themselves in WNBA business, now Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk about that, but let me tell you a little bit what I was doing before I came on your show
What,
because it
what
was the
was you
first
doing?
time.
What was
So
you
the
doing?
first time I did it, right? Okay, so I never did this before because I never wasn't really sure,
Uh-huh.
because I've heard some stuff by her and I liked some of the stuff, but I didn't like some of the stuff, so I didn't want to invest myself. But you know how when you're on YouTube, it
Yeah,
just puts thumbnails.
of
So
course.
Jamel Hill was one of the thumbnails. So I
That's my
said,
girl.
okay, I clicked on it.
Uh-huh.
And initially, I had the sound off. I have to admit that because I didn't want to. Because I was just in the comment section writing what I wanted to write, and I addressed her to say, "Hey, Jamel, things like if you really want to get," because she talked about the congressional thing too, and basically, I was just telling her stuff that I've said to y'all before, just to
Uh-huh.
just to condense it, and then eventually, I did turn it on live, and she does know some stuff that we talk about, which is good. But
Yes.
also a lot of the people in the chat, they sounded a lot like us. So, but mind you, this is just a snapshot because it was just
Uh-huh.
one day. But I was at least, because the thing is, my perspective is either they're hiding stuff or they just don't know. But I'm going to say they're hiding stuff as an example. As an example,
Okay.
that thing that went down with AT,
Uh-huh.
right? That thing that went down with AT, we all know she got benched. We know that. We saw it. We saw her get benched. And the fact that no, not CBS, not ESPN, not Yahoo, not
We're not
Ion,
gonna talk about
none
that.
of
And
these places will even discuss it. What they won't even mention it. So the fact that you won't mention this,
Mhm.
you can't call people conspiracy theorists, because when stuff happens and you won't even touch it or deal with it, y'all just think we stupid, or they know they can't mention it. They know they can't talk about it. Why? Because you're trying to protect this girl's image. It's common sense. It's just like that FIBA vote, right? They took down the site. They got rid of it. You can't access it. You can't screenshot it. They changed the criteria and they never mentioned it again. The
Yeah.
question is, why? Why would you do that if you weren't trying to hide something, cover something up, and prop somebody up? It makes no sense. I'll give you another one. That Aaliyah Boston and
Mhm.
Candace Parker show. Did you notice, y'all? They never did an episode after they lost those two in a row to the Dream. They did not do an episode. So Candace Parker is on yesterday, today, wherever she is, crying about CC's 11th guard rating. But they never did a show after they lost twice to the Dream. So for those who say she don't like Angel Reese, well, now you got to wonder, because when you lost to her team after everything else, you didn't do a show. And speaking about Aaliyah Boston, let me just say this real quick, Tony, as another example
Mhm.
of the All-Star vote. As an example, they claim that Aaliyah Boston, right, was
Yeah.
the highest in the All-Star vote, right? Well, I'm going to
Yeah.
give you another like example. Aaliyah Boston and Candace Parker, speaking about their show, they have a show, right?
Right.
Their show has about 36,000 subscribers.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they generally do anywhere from 5 to 20,000 views. Maybe a high show will have 35,000 views, as I'm sure you and other folks may be familiar with, right? Now,
Mhm.
and that's during the basketball season, by the way. Angel Reese has a podcast which is not even during the basketball season, when presumably she will have less people or her fans watching it. She has a podcast on the same platform, YouTube,
Uh-huh.
that has about 160 to 176,000 subscribers. One of those two numbers. It could be like 166 subscribers.
Uh-huh.
However, her worst shows will do 35 to 70,000 views And her good shows will do hundreds of thousands to up to 1 million views. So her worst show, her absolute bottom show, is their best show. And her best shows are like 10, 30 times more than their average shows. But nonetheless, the WNBA wants us to believe that Aaliyah Boston outvoted Angel Reese when Angel Reese's podcast, which is not even during the season, completely blitzes and overwhelms her podcast with Hall of Famer Candace Parker. And one more thing, Toni, they took over a podcast from someone else. The podcast already existed. So this is something that they didn't even create or was made for them, that already existed. And their podcast during the season is paltry compared to Angel Reese's podcast, which is not even during the season. So riddle me this, Batwoman, Toni Woman, if I can. How is Aaliyah, where are these fans that are voting for Aaliyah Boston? Because what they'll tell us is, well, these are Indiana fans. Well, presumably, these Indiana fans are watching her podcast. But her podcast gets like 5 to 30,000 views at most. And Angel Reese's podcast is bare minimum is getting 35,000, but most of them get between 1 and 300,000 views, and some I've seen 500,000, 700,000, up to 1 million. And if I'm wrong in the chat, y'all, somebody tell me that.
I know, but I have a question. Are you at it with somebody about the voting and the numbers? I'm sure that's that.
Well, no, the reason why I bring that up is because for someone, I'll give you a little bit of my background. I was in biotech and pharmaceutical sales and marketing. I've also been a franchise owner. When I was in college, I was an editor of the school paper, and I also did some writing. Outside of that, I was also a sports agent, a sports agent and a scout. And a scout. And so when you see all these experiences with trying to be nice and also the last thing was also involved in politics as well. Right. So when you see this stuff, the BS, Toni, you see it, you know the BS. And so to me, I can tell that something is rotten in Denmark with this voting, because once you understand social media, once you understand PR, once you understand sales, once you understand propaganda, politics, you can't tell me, this is even before we got to Angel's podcast, but you can't tell me someone has millions of followers in social media, and then the other people such as Jessica Shepard and Aaliyah Boston and all these other people, the people they like to make fun of in the WA, right? They tell you they're nobodies until Angel and Clark got there. But now you want me to believe that Aaliyah Boston, due to some unison between Indiana voters, was the leading vote getter, and Angel Reese is trailing Gabby Williams, who really shouldn't be there, and Jessica Shepard, etc. It don't make sense. So I remembered about the podcast because people brought up Candace Parker. So to answer your question, it was because when Candace Parker was brought up, I said, wait a minute, that's a similar platform that they're both on. They both have YouTube shows, and Angel's YouTube shows blitzes Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston's YouTube show. So I wanted to mention it to you guys because I always like to give examples, statistics, or reality or historical references or current references to illustrate what I'm saying. And here's another one. Take it for what you want. They both have podcasts. She actually has 2 people on her podcast. Now Angel has guests, but so do they. And Angel does hers during the off season, and she does it for off season, obviously due to credibility, because she doesn't want to have it during the season. And she does also have basketball guests. For example, Ty Young, right? She was on her show, a basketball person. And doesn't that show have 200,000 views when she had Ty Young on it? I don't think Aaliyah Boston and Candace Parker, in the chat can fact check me on this. Do they have any show with 200,000 views? I mean, so what I'm saying is that there's something going on with the WNBA, and I challenge any reporter, any investigative reporter, any executive that's in the WNBA to come out and tell the truth. And I'll give you an example, right?
Okay,
In
and then
19
I'm gonna jump on. Go ahead.
okay, in 1986,
Mm-hmm.
after the Rockets went to the NBA Finals, when they trashed LA in the Western Conference Finals and lost in 6 games to the Boston Celtics, Pat Riley was not happy. So rumor has it, well, actually, people have come out and said this. They just don't like to talk about it. And I know a lot of people also bring up Tim Donahue with the referees and the scandals, and also Jordan and his gambling scandals, and why he actually went away for 2 years and had nothing to do about baseball. That was just the excuse they came up with. But the Rockets, make a long story short, the league didn't want to mess up the Larry Bird Magic Johnson thing, and they felt that the Rockets could dominate with Akeem and Ralph, even though Ralph got hurt, but that's another story. So what they did was they tried to figure out a way to slow down the Rockets. Make a long story short, they knew that they were partiers, and they drug tested them, and they got
What's
two of
up,
their best
ADP? I
guards.
dropped the link.
They got two of their best guards, Mitchell Wiggins, Lewis Lloyd, and they had already had their starting point guard, John Lucas, who was also out on drugs. So this shocked them. They were suspended for 2 years immediately. They were actually lifetime suspensions. They couldn't appeal. They couldn't this. They couldn't that. So between the drug suspensions, them running through coaches, and the fact that Sampson's knees fell out and had to be traded, that team basically did not perform to what they were supposed to. Akeem was balling out of his mind. He actually played just as good, if not better, in those first 8 years than when he won his titles in 90 and 94 and 95. Most people don't know that. To me, he was the best player I've ever seen, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But the point is that the league did this to thwart the Rockets. We know about the Tim Donahue stuff. We know about other stuff. So please, for those in the audience, do not take it that the league does not do shady stuff. The league's been doing shady stuff at least since David Stern was there.
I would hope that people aren't blind to that. I mean, it's evident. I mean, it shows. I don't think that anyone that I've seen, not even in our chat or on any of our platforms, Full Court Trio, Players Club, Cut the Ish, Simply Ball Dropping, or Steady Serving. I don't think anybody in those chats to whom, or even over here as well, I don't think that they have the notion that there's no funny business, right? But it's also politics, and you and I both know politics are politics, and people are going to do what they got to do to politic. It's just our jobs as fans, or even if we're involved in it, to kind of, put it out there. Yes, I don't never pay attention to. I don't watch Candace and Aaliyah's show.
Neither do I.
So there's clips that pop up. So I'm not gonna say I agree with how many views they have or don't have, because I don't watch it. So since I don't watch it, I can't say, oh yeah, you're absolutely right with that, because I don't know. I do know that because yes, and they did take the show over from someone, but I think that they do well from a standpoint of people being able to acknowledge what they are doing, because it gets spread around social media. I.e., like the next person that will get big is like Angel, right? Angel doesn't get to do her show. Well, I mean, she can do it whenever she wants, but during basketball season, she just truly wants to focus on basketball. And we all know that, right? So anything that she does that doesn't pertain to her in a gym, she gets flamed. Even when she's in the gym, she gets flamed. And that's why I just put this up, because someone
think those things are done on, if I can say this, Toni, I think those things are done on purpose, as some people say.
They're done on purpose. It's because it's political.
By the machine, because it was pointed out by some folks in your chat as an example, when the when the Skylar stuff came out, when she did the video,
Mhm.
There were a couple of articles. I think you and I talked about it. And I was pointing out
Yeah,
to you.
that was
Technically,
one that they
it
just
wasn't
went
from Yahoo. It was
directly.
from
Uh,
one of those idiot sites. But Yahoo, the platform, just covered it.
yeah,
And the article started off talking about Angel was a stat patter, but you saw in the article that it really wasn't about that. But they put the headline there to
yeah, to
get
draw
people
people in.
mad or to
Draw
get
people in.
people not to like her. That's why it had air quotes.
Oh,
And now
it's to draw people in to read it, right?
and now they're making
You
videos saying that Angel is the problem with Atlanta. That's the meme they're going with now, that she's the
yeah,
problem. So for those in
that's
the chat, so now a lot of people say she's the problem in Atlanta. And so it's like this is coordinated. Like this is not
everything's always
incidental.
coordinated.
Because if you've been in politics, if you've seen politics, if you know how they go after people, how they go after certain politicians or certain people, you know what it looks like when you see it. And this is
Well,
what's happening
that's
to
why
her. Has
this
been happening to her
actually
since
happens. It's been
2020.
happening, MSL. Yeah, it's been happening. And so I think you came in after I hit that piece. I talked about that. I talked about what all she's gone through because it was my soliloquy for what Caitlin is going through right now, right? Caitlin is going through some things. Let me get the chat up on the screen here because I'm making my screen larger. So since I'm making it larger, I want to make sure that I have the stream here so I can see it. I mentioned that because, like I said, Caitlin is going through something right now. She's going through a rough time. She does not know how to deal with all the stuff that is coming at her based off of what took place. And you have to know as a player, and what I want people to understand is when you are a player, you're going to go through these things. People lost their mind because of what, quote, I'm doing air quotes, quote unquote, what they assumed Alyssa Thomas meant by what she did to Cece. I am not Alyssa Thomas. I cannot say that this was her that she meant to do that, and I'm not going to say that she didn't. Why? Because I'm not her, right? We all saw the same thing.
But here's
Some
the thing
people
though,
made
Tony.
memes, but let me finish.
Sure.
Some made a meme to demise her, right? To uplift the other things that CC do get away with. She gets away with slapping people in the face. She gets away with pushing them. She gets away with telling them they ain't shit. Like she walked by Dewana Bonner in 2 other games prior to that one and just walked past and just pushed her because she didn't like what she said, right? But if another player does it, they get teched. CC gets away with it. So now that the media and everyone is coming at her for what took place, that in a sense, like, yeah, this happened to you, but also other people like, well, yeah, it's just a common foul, whatever they're saying. We've already listened to her. She had her little statement where she said, hey, it's not okay, mentally this is tough for her to deal with. So see how that is mentally tough for her to deal with. This shit happens to Angel 24/7. 24 hours in a day, this happens to this girl while she's sleeping, when she's up, in the morning, in the evening, at noon. The damn girl is getting hate in her sleep. She get hate emails. She still got people writing negatively. You got people saying that she is the reason why the dream is 12-9. If I remember correctly, the dream was 12-9 last year. Oh, well, she's not making them better. Well, she also don't have double big, just her, right? And
Perfect.
so I put these
Exactly.
numbers up for that reason,
So even
right?
if they have the
So
same record, they're actually doing better because
they're
they have
actually
one starting
doing
big
better.
versus two starting bigs
Exactly.
last year.
Exactly. And that's why I put the numbers up there. That's why I put the numbers up there, right? Right now, Angel is playing in Bree Jones' spot. But Bree Jones ended up being a 4 when Griner was on the floor. When Griner was not on the floor, Bree Jones was the 5. So when you're looking at their numbers, Angel is killing their numbers on her own, and it is just her. She doesn't have any help in the backcourt. And I just wish folks would just literally stop hammering oh, she ain't this, she's that. I'm being an advocate right now because just like I'm an advocate for the fact that CC is going through something right now. And I don't care. People's like, oh, you're on CC's side. I'm on the league side. I'm on the side of all of these players. When stuff like this happens, I don't pick a side. I don't choose a side. I don't pick a side. I think none of these ladies should be going through this. And it is us as individuals that's on this social media that like to sit here and point out all the negative. Where is it that we can find some positive where we can sit here and we can talk about the good things
But
about
that's
what is
where
happening?
leadership. But that's where
It's
leadership
leadership,
comes
of
in,
course,
and the
it's
WNBA
leadership.
doesn't have that leadership.
They don't have that leadership. They chose Caitlyn to be that leader, and Caitlyn is still young yet. She shouldn't be that leader because
But I
she
mean, even
has to
beyond
grow
Caitlyn, like
into
the
it.
WNBA
I know you're talking about
doesn't
Kathy. You're
handle
talking
these
about all of
situations
them.
well.
Yeah, you're talking about all. But that's because you know why they don't have it well, MSL? Because they haven't had to do it before. That's why.
Mm.
Caitlyn and CC is the first time that they've had to deal with this. So they don't know. They are like adolescents when it comes to this as well. So when we're going to talk about it, we want to be honest, right? They should be handling it well, but this is new to them. They've never had to deal with this ever.
But
Never.
but since you had mentioned it, let's mention a political thing, because I had said this to Live, Love, Laugh in the chat. And I've said it to you before as well. Well, here's the thing, right? Trump has lost a lot of his base because of that country in the northeastern part of Africa, though they claim it's in the so-called Middle East, but that's another story. He's also lost his base because a lot of the rabid Republicans who did support that gentleman that was off a few years ago, his wife has proven 100% fake and 100% phony. And the irony is that black girl, who a lot of black folks don't like, her first name is Candace. She's shown to be a truth teller in regards to all of that. So what has happened is a lot of the Republican base, where they said people shouldn't be different, people shouldn't be separate. Well, they're like, okay, well, why are you supporting that country over there if that's the case? Why are they getting all our money, all our attention, all this? Trump also said he wouldn't fight wars. So now you're doing this whole thing in Iran. So his base is bleeding. I mean, his bleeding. And a lot of the Republicans are now hooking up with independents or hooking up with right-minded Democrats and et cetera, because everyone can agree in a strong America, jobs in America, take care of us, take care of our homeless, instead of spending money, which is really wealth transfers under the guise of warfare. But that's another story. They also have strategic, obviously, and geopolitical and geographic intentions, but he's losing a lot of the base. So obviously, the WNBA is a talisman that they can use, because you have what they claim is mostly black women, aggressive black women, angry black women, muscular black women going after this little what girl. So they feel that's going to be something that can rally their base. It's strictly to rally this deteriorating Republican base with the old racism thing and the old white woman thing, like homeboy back in the 1950s. His name escapes me, but the one they threw in the river because he allegedly whistled at a white woman. And it's the same play. It's just that it's being done now with Clark, because, and how you can always analyze these things, obviously, if you really cared about the safety of players, then you would have cared when AT clothesline Angel 2 years ago. You would have cared when Isabel Harrison did what she did to Angel, etc. You would care what Stewart did to Paige the other day, etc., etc., etc. So we know they're not serious. It's all political, and ultimately it's going to make them look worse. Because when people say, well, okay, well, where were you when this happened? Where were you when this happened? And realistically, what AT did, whether intentional or not, was never going to hurt Clark. So we're creating a tempest in a teapot over something that could never harm somebody. Meanwhile, there are dozens of videos out there with Clark doing stuff to other players, both black and white, that could seriously hurt them. And we don't hear a peep out of that.
I mean, I do get that one for sure. I do get that one for sure. But just hearing that, right? Listening to the sound of that. And we talk about that, right? No one wants to talk about those things that happen. Let's take
No, she she
let's
she
take the
creates the problems.
let's take the knockdown that she because it's almost like a sumo wrestling knockdown that she gave to Angel herself as well last year, right? Angel wide open. She didn't like the fact that Angel shoved one of her players in the back to get the rebound. But it is the ref's job to make the call. The ref didn't make the call. CC didn't like it, so she grabbed Angel and she did the same thing to Angel and pushed Angel down to the ground. When Angel attempted to get up, of course, you had a little Boston that just kind of stood in the way and said, "No, I can't let you do it." But we have situations like that. I'm never gonna say that it is okay, but it's most certainly I'm gonna do as you do. So if you do something to me, I'm probably gonna come back and I'm probably gonna get you back. And like I said, nobody saw what Cece did to Thomas before that. She slapped Thomas, she popped Thomas in the face. But we don't want
Right.
to talk about that. Again, it's no excuse for what Thomas did if it was intentional. If it's just her hands are like that and she's trying to get up, that's a different story. But again, none of us know that. We just see what happened and everybody's reacting. What we did see was we seen
Excuse me.
Cece slap the shit out of her. We saw
Yeah.
Cece pop her in the face. We seen Cece pop her in the face. We seen Cece grab Dewana Bonner and hold her arm so she couldn't get position. And next thing you know, Dewana Bonner's jerking her arm from CC and walking away, and CC's cussing her out, walking behind her, cussing her out. So it's a number of things. So sometimes when you do something, there's a reaction, and the reaction isn't always a good reaction, but this is also sports. This is sports. Yes, Kishi says AB pushed Angel before she before she stopped Angel. Yeah. But the thing is, you you want to be there, you want to be able to be in the midst of this, you want to be able to be the sounding board, but it's always tough to eventually do that. But not only did that happen, you had two other instances that happened directly after that, and it did not involve Angel or Cece, and boom, it's no coverage. So it's the fairness of the sport and what I am here for. It is making sure you call
Absolutely.
everybody's discretions, not just a few. And it is most certainly going to be my opportunity to sit here and every time you guys, and I'm just saying, I like you, TC fans. Y'all are wild and crazy and kamikaze. I can go toe to toe with you because I just think it's funny, right? But I'm going to call you out. When a thing's a thing, it's a thing. And I'm going to call that thing out. You can't slap somebody and don't think that you're not going to get slapped back. This is sports, and these are grown ass women. These are not little girls. They're not little girls, and you can't go and whine and complain because your fave got slapped when she just slapped the shit out of somebody else. I mean,
No.
popped her right in the face. There's a few people she's popped in the face, and none of those ladies have retaliated. Not one. Not one, but we still complain. We still whine. We still want to, oh, well, you did this to Cece. How dare you? You complain about them playing defense on her. You complain about them accidentally popping her. You complain about the fact that they ain't giving her the space, and how dare they not give her the space? She throws her body, flops, and all this stuff. And well, y'all didn't give her the foul. We know it's a flop. Stop that. But then you come to other players because she's not the only one. You got Chelsea Plum. Plum loves to do the same thing, head fake, push off, dig into your body. But this is a part of basketball. I'm not mad at none of it. I don't care who does it. As long as it's fair to be done across the board, do it. Right?
Well, I go ahead.
That's
Sorry.
that's my thing. I'm from old school basketball where everybody got popped. You get popped, you take a lick, and you keep a ticket. It is.
But I
Right?
think, but I think what the politics is, and when they saturate the media with a certain message, if you're not familiar with the history, it's very easy to get fooled. Black, white, male, male or female. Because, for example, the average person would never believe that Cece was 100% in the center of all that Phoenix stuff, from the Dewana Bonnet thing the previous year, to the foul, to jumping in AT's face, to trying to rile up the crowd, from the bench, to getting kicked out the game, to walking out on her team, and then to saying in the press conference that she doesn't care, she'll do it again. Like, this girl is a brat. She's a brat at best, and at worst, she's a danger to herself or to other people. But that's not how she's portrayed in the media. So and the average person thinks, oh, well, if she was that bad, they will tell me. But no, but that's where agendas come in, and we all know that there are money-making agendas, there are marketing agendas, there are political agendas, there are racial agendas, and some incorporate all of those. And I only say that to say, so we can't be naive to think that there's not an agenda. And I don't usually like to use the term great white hope a lot, because it's easy for the other side, so to speak, to easily, try to confine you or compartmentalize you. So I usually like to win the argument on its merits, and not on race. But in this particular term, it fits because it is we've all seen the great white hope syndrome. So even though that may not be an argument that you'll use or articulate for someone, if you can beat them on other aspects of it, but we all know what the great white hope thing. I'll give you an example, and you may be familiar with this. Michael Spinks was a light heavyweight. I don't know if it was the 80s or the 90s, but he wasn't supposed to be heavyweight champion. But for whatever reason, he became heavyweight champion. He was a lightweight turned heavyweight. So there was a white fighter named Jerry Cooney, which I'm sure many people in your audience remember. He was a big, hard hitter. You probably remember him, Tony. Yeah. Jerry Cooney. I forgot the name they called him, but he was like 25-0 with 25 knockouts. They claim he was the greatest fighter ever, the greatest this, the greatest this, the greatest this. The same thing. Like we've been there, done that. We've seen this before with Jerry Cooney. They said, oh, so in the fight, so even though he never fought anyone of significance, he got $25 million for this fight. You know what? Let me correction. I don't remember if he fought Leon. I think he did fight Spinks, or did he fight Larry Holmes? But I think he fought Spinks. Maybe he fought both and got knocked out both times. But the point is, this guy got 25 million. He got big money. They thought he was going to beat Michael Spinks, the brother of Leon Spinks, the guy that was in the Olympics in '76. Yeah. And they thought Spinks was like a paper tiger. And make a long story short, Spinks knocked his ass out. And he may have fought one or two more times after that. But after that, the Great White Hope was done. And this dude, for like 2 years later, never fought again, because he was shown to be a 100% complete hoax. But before he got knocked out by Michael Spinks, they were trying to make it sound like this guy was Ken Norton, George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, and all, Floyd Patterson, Joe Louis, and all these people wrapped up in one. That's what they were saying about him, the most feared fighter ever, and all of this stuff. And a little light heavyweight who was just a placeholder knocked his ass out. Cold. So we've seen the Great White Hope before, and in Caitlin's case, we see similarities, right? Because remember what Gino said. Gino said she's too weak and not athletic enough. That's a paraphrase, to be in the WNBA. And that's what I thought about her. I said, okay, a lot of people are top college scorers, but that doesn't mean it translates, because I didn't see that sort of ability from college into the pros. But Kathy made sure that nobody knew, nobody cared, because all the media wants to say, they had that whole buildup with her when she came in. So people just assumed. So when the players were saying, well, I don't know about this, I don't know about this. So everybody remembers what they said about Angel, but nobody remembers what they said about her. The difference is they drafted her number one, despite the fears that people had about her, because that was a whole campaign. If you remember what Cheryl Reeves said when they played that preseason game against the Sky in 2024, she said, the game that was done on the phone, I've never seen a league that only promoted one player. Cheryl Reeves said that. And she said, and we're playing a team with a player that, talking about Angel, that deserves to be on television and have views. Cheryl Reeves was very upset about that. But for whatever reason, and I have my suspicions, that's what the league did. They decided to hook up with this girl because they obviously didn't want to promote the league. They didn't want to promote Angel. They didn't want to promote, and one of my suspicions was they knew the CBA was coming up. So there was no way they were going to pump up Angel, because Angel was pro player, pro CBA. She knew the history. We had discussed before with Tifico that Nafisa and NECA and all these other players, they said, hey, you need to come. We need you. We need you. And Kathy knew. And then we also heard Angel say that Kathy did, for use of a better word, that Kathy didn't like her because she refused to do what the WNBA asked her to do. So
I know, and so we put that out there, and we bring it up a lot, right? But the thing is this, MSL, Cheryl Reeves decided to speak and continue to speak in that regard because she fumbled the bag. So that's just the deal. Now,
yes, she did.
Is she right? Yes, she was right. She was right in what she said, but she fumbled the bag just like everybody else. It was like, oh, wow. Well, someone told us this, and we just did not think the Angel would be this good. Well, now everybody eating crow that passed on her when Angel was actually supposed to be the number 3 pick.
But my question is, would they had said that if she would have won 2 national titles in a row? I'm assuming she'd have been the number 1 pick.
Even if she would have won 2 titles with the way that the narrative was going, she should have been able to be the number 1, but she still wouldn't have been. She still wouldn't have been. You know why? Because of the story that was already spinning, MSL. And anybody that's paying attention would know that. They still would give Angel.
Well, Cheryl Reeves, if I remember correctly, it wasn't even about basketball. For whatever reason, she thought that Angel was not going to focus on basketball, was not going to be interested in basketball. She was going to be hard to deal with, hard to handle. And that makes no sense, because all you had to do was pick up the phone and call any of her coaches.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you this.
The scouting of the WNBA is not where it should be.
It's one of those things where they all thought that, and it wasn't that she was just going to focus, that she was going to be solely focused, that she had enough going on. It had to do with the situation, with the problem that was already generated by Portnoy, who already said that I am the reason that this is happening. I started this because I thought it would be a great rivalry.
Well,
so when he did that, he essentially thought it would destroy Angel, but then it didn't destroy her. It actually made her stronger. And for those in here that say, "Oh, Angel's a fraud," if she was a fraud, she wouldn't be in the W. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. So hey, hold on. If you're not here for good analytics, though, I've seen a couple people, and I'll let y'all handle that chat. But don't come in here like that. If you got something nice to say, if you got something you want to say it, but don't be disrespectful. Go ahead.
Well, since you brought that up, Tony, I'm going to do the conspirator element by having something that just took place recently, which I'm sure you're probably not happy with. I call foul on these WNBA teams who are going off of Portnoy or whatever, because here's the thing, right? On that coach's vote, who would have ever thought that Alyssa Thomas, averaging 15 points and either 7 or 9 rebounds and assists, 1 is 7, 1 is 9 assists. I'm assuming it's 9 rebounds and 7 assists, 15 points, that Alyssa Thomas and or Kai Copper, averaging almost or around 20 points a game, would not be picked on the All-Star team. So the quote-unquote rumor or suspicion is that the league, because of the Clark thing, came down and said, don't pick her because you would think the coaches vote would be the more legitimate vote compared to the fan and the media and the player, amalgamation. You would think the coaches picks would be more pure, but to not have Alyssa Thomas, who's literally a machine, right? Every year she pretty much puts up the same stats the last 4 or 5 years. To not make the All-Star team by the coaches vote, it seems a tad bit political. And if the coaches can be told who to pick and who not to pick, then why couldn't the general managers when Angel was coming into the league? Because how is it Alyssa Thomas was not selected to the All-Star team, Tony? Can you see a valid argument for that?
But for Thomas?
For Alyssa Thomas, AT.
Yeah, what about her? For her not being in a
No. I'm saying a lot of people are speculating that the league told the coaches, or the league just removed AT altogether from the coaches vote, because a lot of people can't see how AT wouldn't be chosen on the All-Star team.
This is another thing, and so I'm glad you brought that up. But this is one of those things. I don't think that they did that, right? I think with the political thing that's going on, AT not having a great year this year,
team-wise,
still should not, right? Team-wise should not, right? Just like I said, Malunga shouldn't be there. Malunga,
I don't think she should be there either. Malunga,
they played like maybe 6 games, and she made it over Camilla, who Camilla is having.
You could put Camilla and Shakira there instead,
right? So, and like I said that as well. Shakira also is having a breakout year, but you got to take either Shakira or Kiki. They chose to take Kiki. Kiki's numbers are slightly better for as point scoring, but and I think they're almost just about there evenly with rebounding. I think Kiki has her about like a 0.1 or something like that. I mean a 0, like a 0.1, 0 point something like that. I don't know. But however, I just think that players that's having a breakout year should have that opportunity to play. That's it. I mean, I can't speculate. I mean, that might be your theory, and maybe it is.
No, it's not my theory. It's just something that leaves a bad taste in people's mouth, because there's some people who feel, maybe you don't, I don't know, that feel there's no way Alyssa Thomas shouldn't be an all-star. And now they wonder if whether it's the fallout, whether they were told, whether they were scared, whether it's Congress. I don't know. The fallout of the whole Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas thing made it so she wasn't chosen as an all-star. It leaves that taste.
I don't think they were told, but if the decision is made by Lynn Cathy and maybe she had the votes or whatever, and she wants to remove something before she posted, she most certainly can. That is definitely her thing. But I don't get too. Well, I mean, it's something that you can think about, because she has made it year after year. I don't know.
Because remember,
what they have to realize too, MSL, is people have to realize that the two of them are going to be on the Olympic team together, on Team USA together. They're going to be on the team together. So all of this nonsense and notion that folks keep putting up, y'all realize CC has to play with these girls, not just against them. She has to play with them too.
But CC and Kennedy Carter have a lot in common. That's the bad part. People don't want to acknowledge that, but they do.
Only to a point, right? I don't want to get into that, because I think CC has an opportunity where CC plays the game, she listens, and she is leading her team. Can Kennedy Carter eventually have her own team at some point and lead her team? She does when she's overseas. And when you are here in the States and you are playing the best of the best, and this is another thing I want people to listen. And I see you, ADP. I'm going to give you a second here to talk. I want you to listen good. Okay. Every single player in the WNBA is the best of the best. You can go overseas and you can play and you can dominate. If you go overseas and you do not dominate and you do not give those foreign teams what they need you to give them when you are there, they will send you back home. Now, you can go over there, you can bust 50 and 60 points a night. I'm going to use Goon's little girlfriend, his little lover girl, Dana Evans, as an example, right? Dana Evans, 2 years ago, while overseas, played a magnificent season, right? As to the fact that they thought that she would bring that same intensity to Chicago when they played in 2024. However, Dana did not bring that same energy and things just did not work well. And as you can see, it didn't end well for the team. It didn't end well for them. They said what they said. She moved on. Then she went to Vegas and she sat her little self on the little pond and waited till her name was called. And when her name was called and Becky had to go in the game, she performed, right? Um, Playing on a team like that, yes, she's going to come off the bench. Playing on a team like Sky, she should have been able to lead the Sky. And she just didn't do that, right? But she did have a fantastic season overseas. Why? Because it's typically you against whatever 2 or 3 Americans are on each foreign team that's there. It's not a whole team full of foreigners, right? And not to say that the players that are here now that are playing, like the Gabby Williams and the Shepherds and all those ladies, aren't the best of the best. They are getting it done, but at Goon said he gonna marry her. At the end of the day, they've taken their
Do we know
best.
if Goon is male or female, Tony?
Goon is a male. That's 100% male.
No, because
Goon,
he always has Sanaya, if I'm saying her name right, on
he got
in
a
his
bunch of
profile,
girlfriends.
right?
He got a bunch of girlfriends. Leave Goon alone. Goon is going on a marathon of women.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
Sorry, Goon. I just was making sure. I figured, but you know how it is nowadays. So
yeah, it's just one of those things where players are going to be players and they're going to do things. Will Can CC go over? Can she go overseas and be as dominant as she is here? Yeah, right. But in this league, you have the best of the best. You still have some players that still aren't playing in this league that are better than some people in the league. It's just, hey, their number just wouldn't call. And sometimes it depends on who you play for.
I
Um,
know, I know
Move
you
on.
have ADP. The reason
Go
why
ahead.
the reason why I compared them was because they're two talented. They're two talented players who have some deficiencies. On Kennedy is she don't always want to play defense, and she's small, and she's envious of other players when she doesn't have the ball. Caitlin is not the most athletic player. We all know about her basketball deficiencies. I'm not going to get into that. She's also selfish in the sense where she wants to play her ball, and she's been in
Mhm.
a struggle with every WNBA coach she's had so far, and they go through this warfare, every season. The difference is it's not discussed in the media, and
Right.
that's the part that I find very, 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 very hypocritical. Now, what gets some Kennedy Carter fans mad, and I'm not saying this, I'm just mentioning it because I've heard it said,
Mhm.
when they say that they feel Kennedy is being ostracized, they say that because they go, hey, well, Kennedy is going to be out the league now for God knows how long or permanently, when Cece has done similar, if not worse, when Marina Mabry has done similar, if not worse, when Skylar Diggins has done similar, if not worse, etc. And but Kennedy has to go. But they do have some similarities where they're hard to get along with. They don't always listen to their coaches. They're talented players, but they also have flaws. And at the end of the day, they don't want to listen to nobody. And they want to do them. They want to do themselves. So obviously, Caitlin Clark is
Mhm.
Kathy's pet project. So her stuff don't even get discussed. Whereas Kennedy Carter, who's nobody's pet project as far as the league is concerned, she
Yeah,
gets very finite mistakes, and if that happens, she's gone.
I
And
know. Let me
yeah,
get ADP in here. Go ahead, ADP.
Hey guys.
hey
What's going
ADP,
on, my sister?
and you like Kennedy too, right? ADP.
Yeah, I'm over here fighting with my charges. So Tony, if I go out, it's not me.
I got you.
Oh
Don't
my
worry. I
gosh.
got you. No worries. I got you.
Um, yeah, I do. I do like Kenny Carter. Um, so yeah, but I wanted to. Tony, did you already touch on, you was asking the question, is this the greatest season in the league history?
Yes, yes. Started off and then we kind of veered from it, but go ahead and go back to it, which is absolutely where I need to go back to. Go ahead.
Um, oh gosh. Even if you take and go back to like when Lisa Leslie and them were playing, it's nothing like this. It was nothing like this. Even with the politics involved, it still was nothing like what's going on today. You might have
Uh-huh.
had some hateration in there, teams going back and forth and all this kind of stuff, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
different because they whatever, I mean, people can agree or disagree. It's the attack on the mental health of these players, and it's not just going from one person, it's going from team to team. You could find someone on each team that is getting hit in a way they shouldn't be, but mostly I've seen it get hit when it comes to Angel Reese.
Yeah.
So to me, like last year, I knew something. We kind of knew something was in the air. We knew something was going on. We like paid the players and all that kind of stuff. That's different. This time, every time you turn around, it is always something. If it's not with the league against the players, it's a player, acting up. One player getting more punished than the other one. It's just a lot. Um,
Right.
that these ladies are going through, because at the end of the day, these are these people's lives. We can critique, of course, you can do your assumptions, of course, but when it comes to the tearing down of a person, or saying you really know and you were there in the doctor's room, or they were diagnosed with certain things, that's when it becomes a problem. It's over the critiquing and it's over the opinion. You're trying to say that you know exactly what's going on, and the only person that would know that are these particular players. So it's getting to the point where they're not just getting beat by, the organization, they're getting beat by the fans too.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
no. So no,
100%.
yes, I feel like yes. So my answer is this the greatest season in the league history? No, it's not. Not when it comes to the risk of someone's mental health. It's not. Not for me. And we can say,
Right.
yes, I get it, guys. I get it. They signed up for the job. We sign up for jobs all the time, but it doesn't stop our mental health from getting attacked. It doesn't stop us. We don't give up because we got stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean that it's not having an effect on us, even if we don't speak out. And this is probably why some people feel like they don't want to speak out, because it's like you danged if you do, you danged if you don't.
Right.
And I think this particular time, I think is different right now, because normally, players are known to go ahead and write and just speak out and say whatever, but it's kind of quiet. So we don't know. We don't know what the future holds. All we know is some changes were made, and we have to see what happens. Even that's the thing, we do a lot of stuff that people will never know. We have a
Uh-huh.
lot of stuff in our past that
You talk
Uh-huh.
about women or black women, ADP?
I'm talking about everybody in general.
Okay.
And I'm saying, like, we've done some stuff nobody will never know. We've done stuff that God and gave us about 20 times to get right, and some you get half of it right. You might not get all of it, but you're getting there. And that's the thing I love about God, is because God will be there for you whether you right or wrong. He gonna get you right in His timing. But man will crucify you, those stones, and they sitting right there going through the same thing, but we can't see it, right? So
Right.
for me, I don't think this is the greatest time with the league, because, like I said, it's an attack on the players and the mental health. Whether it's Caitlin, whoever it is, it's an attack on all of them. Because guess what?
Yes.
Some of them they are using, and when you're in the spotlight, you can't see it until you get that right person around you. Say, hey, check this out. You know what I'm saying? It's this. Do you see this? Do you
Right.
know this? We can say a person signed up. We can say a person signed up 100 times a day for their job, but at the end of the day, nobody, and I mean nobody, deserves to get attacked on their mental health. Because
No.
guess what? We don't know if they're going to be here tomorrow. They can smile and act like everything is going right, and every last person that's crucified or whatever, throwing stones, they're going to change the court. You know, they're going to change their comments, or they're going to change the course. It's too late. Did y'all not see how they did Chadwick, my Black Panther, Wakanda forever? But my Black Panther, did y'all not see how they did Chad? Let me tell you, Tony, when I say that movie, after Kaden passed, I went to my kid.
Her microphone went, Toni?
Oh, I think she said, I'm gonna give it a second to come back in.
Okay.
She said that it would probably do that.
It's her internet.
And just sentiments on that. I'm just gonna put this up so you guys can see it. Like, let's take that back down, not that one.
But the mental
some of the
health
reactions that took place. Mental health is huge, and like Coach said, Curtis, he just said, like, there's a few of them. You got Cunningham, you got CC, you got Angel. He named a few others. Who else? He named those three.
But speaking about the mental
health, which is true. All the ladies have mental health. To be honest with you, some of them got done formed PTSD behind that stuff.
It's funny you say that. If I can say this, like Brian Lewis, very, very great contributor in the chat yesterday, I think on Bro Claude or you and Keisha, I don't remember, they were showing a video with Chinese Agumike speaking with Stephen A. Smith. And I guess he likes Chinese or Cheney, or maybe he or she, maybe he feels that, she knows what she's talking about, but she can't always say what she needs to say. But here's my argument to the mental stuff. My issue is the entire discussion to your argument was about Caitlin Clark being a victim, and Cheney, however you pronounce her name, never said, but wait a minute, all the stuff that you said, she did when she did this to Bonner when she was on the team before. She did this to Bonner during the game, and all the stuff that we know that happened right up to her getting booted out the game. You cannot discuss bad stuff about Caitlin Clark on ESPN, or if you're an ESPN announcer. That's the problem. That's my issue. So you can't get past the truth if the so-called media is constantly covering and lying for this girl. That's the problem, because Cheney never once said, but Clark did this. She was the instigator. That AT.
Well, here's the thing, though, and I don't mean to cut you off, MSL.
Sure.
Here's the thing with her, right? From an analyst standpoint, and you're on big platforms right there, like that, right? There's certain things you can say and certain things you can't. She could have turned.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but that also indicates that you have to take what she says.
Things that you can't. You just can't. And I'm going to say that, and maybe I'm biased towards her, right? Because
even on Stephen A. Smith's platform, she can't say that.
I know her personally, right?
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. And I get it. I know the game. I know how it works.
You can say certain things, but there's certain things that you don't need to say. What she said was well said to me. And that's just my opinion. I know for you, it wasn't. You felt like she should have said something more. But for me,
no. But I'm agreeing with you, Toni. I'm agreeing that if you're on ESPN on certain platforms, you can't. Essentially, what you're saying is, and I'll say it. I know you don't want to say it. You can't tell the truth about Caitlin Clark. No, that's my point.
It's not. I don't think it's not that she didn't tell the truth, because the question wasn't about Caitlin Clark or her character or what she did. It was solely the question about, and so in that
instance, that's only because Stephen A. Smith wants to deify Clark at all times.
Okay, though, right? So Agumike can only answer the question that is asked, not go above.
Fair enough.
When you go above and beyond, now you're asking for something more that you don't need to come your way. The question was specifically asked about what did she think about Alyssa Thomas foul, not what Caitlin Clark did before, not what Caitlin Clark behavior is, none of that stuff. Like she said, played with AT. I know Caitlin Clark. I know Caitlin wants to play this game, but that when you slow it down, she said when she saw it, it did not look like it was anything until, again, just like the rest of the world, when you slow it down and now you get to see it in real time in slow motion, it perceives to look that way. So did she receive what he said? Did she deserve the punishment and what she received? She said yes, right? When you slow it down and it looks like that, then yes, that's exactly what she needed to answer. That's it. You can't put more into it. Like if you're on this type of platform, you can say whatever. But when you're on the national stage like that, and you've been there before, and so you know that there's certain things that you can say, but I don't think that she alluded saying that because she just wanted to avoid the people or the fans that come for you when you say something negative, because they've already come for her 2 or 3 times already. So she's not afraid of that. But to only answer the question that is asked is it. That's all you should answer. You shouldn't put more into it, because now it becomes a problem, because
now you're asking for trouble.
You don't put more stuff in that, and she said this, and now it blows up, right?
But I'm glad you brought that up, Toni, because I don't want to get into politics here, and I'm not. However, but for those of us who believe in certain politicians or the so-called Democratic Party, my question is, we all love to badmouth the Republicans and say this is what they're doing on behalf of Caitlin Clark. But my question is, where are the reciprocal Democratic politicians who are pushing against this? Because realistically, the base of the WNBA is the Democratic Party. You got some blacks, you got some gays, you got some little crazy ones, you got some women, you got this. That's what the Democratic Party claims, claims their base is. But I've yet to hear any Democratic politician, period, mind you, articulately, if I'm pronounced that correctly today, being articulate, let's just say that, being articulate, discussing this whole Caitlin Clark mess, the WNBA, and or Angel Reese. Because to getting back to your earlier argument, even though Angel lives a great life, yes, she lives a great life. Her life is spectacular. She's a spectacular person. She makes tons of money. She's famous, and she's been famous since she was in high school. I get all that, and I don't take that away. However, there's still a dark side against her, which is unprecedented. It's how it's unprecedented, because we've never seen someone who did relatively nothing, right? Nothing, be treated this way with this vitriol online. Yes, a lot of it I think is fake and is pushed and promoted, but as you say, there are real people who do it as well, because they're getting it from Dave Portnoy, they're getting it from Fox, they're getting it from these right-wing sites, and then they regurgitate it online, and it's disgusting. Most of it has nothing to do with basketball. 95% of these people claim they don't even watch the WNBA, they don't like the WNBA, but nonetheless, they're always quick to go after Angel Reese. Where are these Democratic or black politicians?
I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer that. You know where they are? Out of it, because they shouldn't be in it. So it doesn't matter that what we see online is happening right now from, as we would know, the Republican Party or whatever that agenda they're attempting to push, right? It is not the politician's job to be in the middle of this. So understand, I'm gonna understand it and look at it from this. If it's not your mess and your business, you don't get in it, right? And that politicians need to be and worry about politics, not what's going on in the W. And unfortunately, you do have some that are putting their nose in this business simply because they feel they can. It is going to be the W to make sure that they don't allow that to happen. However, if they do, then I'm sure you'll hear more, but this should not be political. And so I would not dare look for a politician from any party not even a party that's actually petitioning, doing what
But
they're
you're
doing.
telling me they
I
have
don't,
no response to
but
that congressional
no,
letter, Tony?
they don't need to, though, MSL. They don't need to, because then now they're embedding themselves, just as the Republicans, as you would say, are, and what we see are. Why compound something that shouldn't be? If they get involved, because if Democrats get involved, because Republicans have got involved, now you got one of these big, huge political ramification mess that don't even need to be talked about. This is irrelevant to them. They got bigger things to worry about. They got the fact that the damn country is going to shit is what they need to be concerned about. They don't need to be concerned about no basketball. Those guys that are writing that, or the one person that put that up there, is because he is a huge fan and this is what he decided to do. But it is up to everyone else to say, you know what, we're not dealing with that.
Just so you know, Tony, I didn't read the letter. I don't care. I know how
Yeah, I
politics
didn't read it.
works. Like, to me, it's like what it's
that.
like whatever. But for those, but I only brought it up for those because I know there are a lot of us who believe in the political system or a particular party. So I just raised that question for those who really who really feel that way. But me personally, like, I don't let stuff like that bother me. I'm speaking about it here because it's part of the topic. So I'll ask certain questions, bring up certain things, but that's to be expected. That they're trying to light up their base or put a fire into their base because their base is not in the best shape right now by using, dog whistle racism to help prop up the base. And it's very unfortunate. And obviously you can tell it's not real or it's fake and phony because you're really not concerned about the safety of the players, because if you were, you would have spoken out before when other incidences had happened. But part of my blame, though, is for Kathy, because under Kathy, only Caitlin Clark is important in the league and everyone else is expendable, either to injury, to racism, to catcalls, to whatever. And a lot of people like to say, oh, there's nothing the league can do. That's not true. The league can take a stance on a lot of things. The commissioner could come out up front. The league can investigate things, or the league can threaten to investigate things if people. There's a lot more stuff that Kathy can do, but she chooses not to.
Right.
So she
right.
deserves the criticism
we'll
that she
see how
gets.
she sit back. Yeah, we'll sit back and see how she chooses to deal with this. Because for me, my energy on the fact that Kathy's not doing her job, she's gonna lose her job, right? She's gonna lose her job. Mr. Pencil Man for the NBA gonna lose his job. I mean, they'll get some other people, and either they'll get some people that is gonna actually do right, or you can get some people that is gonna say, "Oh no, we'll go ahead and we'll continue to go with the narrative that you all want." Right? Someone just says Republican control all branches of government because they use any and all means, including cheating to win. See, here we go. Democrats still learning. I don't. I'm gonna say this. I don't
They
think
both cheat, but that's another story.
Yes, I'm gonna say I don't think they still learning. They got some things they do. I just can't get into it. I just can't. I have to. So everybody knows I have to stray away from political stuff because of what I do. So I'm gonna try and navigate away from that portion. I did see that.
If you're in the military,
I
or
did
if you're a
not want
military
to put
contractor,
that. I didn't want to put that up because I absolutely cannot do political stuff right now, and so I'm going to stray away from that. But there are some things that I feel like Kathy should do. But at the end of the day, let's see if she does. If she doesn't and her job is on the line, then it's going to be c'est la vie for her. If she continues down this rabbit hole and not take care of all players versus some players, she's just going to keep getting called out by her players, right? So last year was Fee. Breonna Stewart said something and alluded to it just a tad bit before Fee did. The year before that, both coaches, Brondello and what's her name for the Lynx, they both said something. They criticized her, right? This year, it's coming out again with the difference of not being able to make the calls defensively in the right way because we're more concerned about running a score up versus players, you're like, no, but we don't want players to get hurt. Well, no, this player touched this player. Let's just take Leisha's foul that her 3-pointer that they took away from her and called her with an offensive foul that I thought was crazy. She's in the air, shoots the 3 ball, and because she comes down and the player,
that other player was jumping in her direction
and jumps into her hand, all of a sudden now the 3 is waved off. It doesn't count. It's not going to work, and now we're going the other way. I think things like that are extremely crazy. It is. It says, well, I can speak to it if you can't, Tony. Drop the link.
It's a show, period, big dog.
Y'all can't do me like that. Y'all can't do me like that. Y'all gonna get me in trouble.
Hey, I think ADP is back.
There's ADP. I just brought it back up. There's ADP.
Oh my
What
God.
happened, ADP? What happened to you, girl?
Oh my gosh, it crashed out. So I went to the store and wound up getting groceries instead of getting a charger for my computer because I was helping somebody out. And so it crashed down, but my daughter is so tech with the iPhone. So iPhone was blocking me from getting on StreamYard. So I went in settings. I'm bad, guy. That's all I can say.
No, you're good. Let's do this real quick.
Got
I wanna go ahead and kind of pay homage to our players here on the Dream.
Okay. For the All-Star Tony.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want that shirt. I need the shirt with all 3 of them on it. I'll just delete the sound later, y'all. I'll delete the sound later. Look at Papa.
He did all this? He did all this? Boy, they would have never did this at Chicago, I'll tell you that.
I love it, y'all. I just had to show that. I thought that was the coolest. Pow is just the funniest,
a ball of energy,
most energizer bunny that I've seen besides me. Because I'm an energizer bunny too. I'm a Pow.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny? Call me an optimist, Tony. I just watch as the season progresses. Yeah, can things get worse? Maybe. But if they went on, I think they got like 20 low 20s games left. If they went on a 20-4 run or 19-4 run, that wouldn't shock me. That wouldn't shock me easily as well, because obviously sometimes you got to hit bottom before you get yourself together, and they haven't hit bottom yet because they're still 12-9, but they've hit bottom in that you've lost 5 in a row, and you don't want to lose more than 5 in a row from where they're at. And when I see things like this where they're still laughing, they're still joking, they're talking about book club, there doesn't seem to be any animosity, or at least from what we can see. And if you listen to the coach, though he can be criticized, when you hear him, basically he's like, hey, our shots just are not falling and this is not happening. And, we'll get it together. And other people are hitting big shots. So, yeah, on one hand, you can criticize him. But on the other hand, they still seem confident in Angel when she said, you better watch us in the future. Everybody still feels confident about that team. And that's a good thing. So if they do end up having a Vegas type turnaround in 2026, like Vegas did last year, we'll remember when they all were still confident and stalwart, despite everybody trying to pull them away and pull them down. Would you agree, Tony, or you have your own comments? Or you're muted. I don't hear you.
No, I ended up muting because I was watching this one play here. ADP dropped. ADP, there she is.
She dropped out again.
What's going on with you, ADP?
ADP is like a ghost. She comes, she reappears. She comes, she reappears. You're like a superhero.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, I just think it's cool. I was gonna show this other foul, right? And things like this just doesn't typically get called and seen. So I wanted to put this up, right? And when we talk about elbows, the one fake call. Come on, ADP. Are you with me, ADP?
Yeah, I'm
You
with you,
keep
girl.
dropping down. Right. So I wanted to put this up because again,
yeah, this is real with Kai Copper. This is real.
Talia Copper come for that double team with Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, that
and Celia Boston.
That whole game was just crazy, yo. That whole game was crazy. Let's take the sound down. Yeah, I mean that whole elbow just comes down.
No,
now that is definitely a a throat problem right there. And I'm not laughing at Kai, but I'm just saying that is definitely a throat problem. Like when we talk about, and this was the same game in which
yeah, absolutely. With the AT stuff,
Thomas,
but nobody wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, nobody talked about this because the thing that made it national was that, but this was actually called. So the difference is in that, and I brought this up because I want to say
Boston
this
is still
too.
upset about the call. That's the crazy part.
And she's gonna be called. That's just Boston. What call does Boston ever get that she's not happy with? She's not happy with any call she gets. That's just Boston, right? But because this particular call was made during a game, you're not going to hear much about it. Because Izzy was called for pulling Angel down, you're not going to hear much about it. It was the mere fact that they didn't even attempt to make the call for CC is why this is so
no, I think the CC thing was weak sauce. I think it was either an overreaction.
It was, but at the same time, I get that, right? And we all get that. That's something that, okay, it's something that we didn't catch. We'll be mindful next time, and you move on, right? But
they had to make it political,
they made it so political, and because of who it was, because if it was any other player, it would not have been ostracized like this at all. And so we have to understand that this is where we are. If we're going to continue to talk about the W and how things are going to go and how they're going, and CC is going to be in this W for at least another 10 years, give or take, she stay healthy, or any of these ladies stay healthy. Angel too, they stay healthy. They have about another 10 years or so in the league, right? And they play extremely well. You're going to see more of this. This stuff is going to happen. It's going to go away for a little while, and then it's going to come back because you can't take away physicality from a sport like this. And things like that typically happens, and coaches, refs have to call it in real time. But because they know, or they've been told, hey, don't call this, don't call that. We got this going on. We got that going on. We need scoring. We want the scores to go up, this, that, and the third. Be careful what you call and call. I mean, we know how it goes if you're in the political world and you've played sports, and it just typically happens. There's betting going on. There's all these different things happening. This is called.
I don't like the whole betting aspect.
I don't like the betting aspect. So people doing things, and now you make me think that the refs are involved with the nonsense of, oh yeah, well we'll pay you if you call the game this way, or you stop this person with this, that. Like everybody's seem to be easily paid off, don't you think, ADP?
Yep. You said that right, easily.
Yeah, easily to be paid off.
And they don't care, Tony, until they mess around, hit them like the
don't.
NBA and football, years and years later.
Yeah, especially the way Dream Games are officiated. Because that call with Alicia Gray, you mentioned the first call that they didn't call for Angel when she stole. Remember when Angel stole the ball? Okay. She stole the ball and she got knocked over.
You can't hear me?
Over.
I can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you, ADP. Everybody can hear me.
Let me take my headphones off.
Yeah, but the calls in that game was horrendous. And all the Dream Games are like that. Like you said, Tony, the last 6, 7, 8, 9 games, they've just been officiated that bad. Yeah. So why? Like, they can't be that bad. And because you can't call the fouls, You can't let everybody kill Angel, and then if she touches someone, you blow the whistle. That's not right, because if that's the case, she should be able to foul the hell out of other people the way they're able to foul the hell out of her. But if she touches someone and you blow the whistle, then no, there's something not right.
Right. Hey, it's one of those they'll tell the feds go on and
but the more we complain and the more we shout about this, hopefully it will seep in, and whether the league or the media will eventually, get the gist of it, and they'll start to change, because they're only going to change when they feel the fans are in an uproar, and or politicians or media is starting to call it out, and then they go, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your system, ADP. But we hear just fine. No, I hear you, MSL. I hear you. Well, let's ask these questions.
Unless you get somebody like Michelle Obama to speak out about it.
Because I put some questions up. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. These people, with the way the world is today, don't nobody care about what Michelle Obama is saying. She has a strong, commanding voice, and there's a lot of people that's going to listen, but there's a lot of people that's going to say this is sports and we don't care about that, right?
But that's okay, because it's just. But that's okay, because it's just because like you said, the real money. You said, I wish this ish would stop. I just want to see good basketball. Let the players play. Stop downing Angel all the time. If she wasn't good enough, she wouldn't be in the league. And you made me think about those sites, right? Because they're not basketball sites.
No,
they're anti-Angel Reese sites, pro Caitlin Clark sites, because every single excuse is Angel is bad. Atlanta's bad because of Angel Reese. Like some guy said, Angel Reese is shooting whatever in the last 5 games. And I said, did you check the stats of the other starters and the bench players? Because everybody on the team is shooting poorly these last 5 games. So you're just singling out Angel.
I'm glad. Right. You're singling out Angel.
You're singling out Angel, but the whole team is shooting poorly.
I know.
The coach said we're in a shooting slump.
I know. Here's the deal, MSL. I watched a show last night, and that particular show said, and they were live. And mind you, this is 1:00 in the morning. I should have been asleep, right? But I couldn't sleep, so I went to my phone and I'm checking social media. And they're live, and the live is talking about how poorly Angel is and a terrible player and this, that, and the third. And I actually hit the live button to join in. And then I realized, you know what? Why? Right? Because you can't convince somebody of something when they don't want to be convinced. Because to be convinced is simply to just watch the game. Watch her game and watch how she's playing. Look beyond what you think is so negative about her because of for whatever reason you think it is, right? Has she been an efficient layup player? No. When she slows down, yes. Does she get in a rush and want to get the shot up and misses? Yes. But also some of those misses is because she is getting hack-a-shacked, right? They're killing her by fouling the heck out of her. And so it just looks horrible for her. But when you slow down all of these clips, you get to see, just like they slowed down the clip for CC to make sure that they came back and they fined and suspended Alyssa Thomas. You can slow down all the clips of every time Angel was hit. And that's the reason why the last game she was called decently, right? Because it was JC in the interview, in the press conference at the end of the game against Washington, is why when they played the Velks again, they called a decent game for Angel. Why? Because JC said something. It has to be somebody other than Angel saying something about how they're treating her underneath the basket in order for her to be called, because they don't want to hear from her. They don't want to hear from her. Her job is to shut up and play, and that's exactly what she's doing. And I'm commending her for doing that, just being quiet and just playing, because they're going to call what they're going to call. whether she says something or not. The problem is if she says something, she risks an opportunity of getting yet another tech. She has the
Right.
most texts
Because
in the
they'll
league
give her a check
right
for
now.
anything.
So exactly. So her being quiet is the best that she could possibly do.
And to
just
the
continue
team's
to pray and
credit,
let
from her
them say
teammates and the coach, they seem to be trying to relate to her and have I'm assuming a private as well as a public understanding of what she's going through, which is some of the things we speculated about when she first went there. Like, do you know what you're getting into when you bring Angel Reese to the team? There are a lot of positives, but there's also some negative aspects that are out of her control that you have to be prepared for in case that happens. And they seem to pass a lot of the earlier ones with the little internet stuff, but now you're getting into the league stuff, which is a little harder to navigate and or fight. And so we'll see what happens in the next 20 something games with the team.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm replying to
No,
Hog.
that's fine. No, it's fine because
No, Hogboss said that there was a page, a LSU page that had nothing but negative stuff on that. That's not a true page. People like to have their pages and then they change their names to fit the narrative to show, hey, well, this is that, or vice versa, or whatever. Or if somebody's being paid to do whatever. I mean, that's what people go on there.
But you know how you know it's fake,
If they
Toni?
do that,
Because you know how you know it's fake, Toni?
that
Because
team
she's the
has
only
never won anything, gotten that close in the playoffs ever before, or won a championship. So what she's done for LSU and that program is something that whoever is actually from there is demise and the demeaningness for that program. If they're doing that, unfortunately, I'm so sad for those individuals, but never the fact that this girl gave them something that they never had.
But you know how you know it's all fake, Toni? Because she's the only WNBA player where 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 just a bunch of people, whether real or imagined, are dedicated to bad mouthing her name. So that raises two questions. One, well, if she's so bad, why do y'all spend so much time trying to tell us she's bad? Because if she was really that bad, you wouldn't have to say anything. Her game would speak for itself, and or nobody would care about her. And then right. So because she was that bad, and then the other thing is, why is there so much energy put into bad mouthing this woman? Because obviously, so it gives itself away. But the average person who thinks good of people, they don't think, oh, they're lying about this person. So when I see these blooper videos, I'm thinking, wow, her game must be really that bad. Because if her game was really that bad, why would they be showing these blooper videos? But they don't realize that it's a very small sect, and she can go 12 for 15 in a game, and they'll show the 3 shots that she missed and claim and just put them on repeat,
right?
For people to laugh. And I think a lot of the Black celebrities, when they chime in on Angel, it's either one or two things to me. You're either down with some consortium with Nike or Clutch Sports or something like that, or with IMG or Creative Arts as one of these other firms, or you're just dumb. Because why do you chime in on something that you don't know? And then you say something negative about a Black woman, a Black queen, if you want to say that, and you add to the negativity when 90% of what's discussed is totally out of context, and she's the only player that they do this with. They don't do this for anyone else. And certainly not at this level, even if they did it with someone else. So that begs the question, if they're only doing it to her, why? We know why. 2023, 2024, Kathy, WNBA, etc., all that good stuff. And it's directly related to Clark. But that's the part that no one in the media wants to talk about. Because if they spoke about it, it would unlock the key for everybody to go, oh, oh, that makes sense.
I want to play this. Let me play this. This here is another piece that I was going to talk about within this, because it's all in the line with, of course, the mental health, the crossroads, in which I was alluding to early on when it comes to the W and things like that. So let's play this. This guy is something else.
Still, Yahoo Sports just reported Fever head coach Stephanie White announced the status of Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Indiana's back-to-back games versus the LA Sparks and the Phoenix Mercury. Now listen to this. It says Caitlin Clark is available to play Wednesday, so today, but she's already ruled out for the Thursday game against the Mercury. How the you rule somebody out prematurely, but you let them play today? You know what they used to say to us when we was growing up? Coaches would ask you, are you hurt or are you injured? If you injured, bro, don't play. Don't play today. But don't make it look like you cherry picking which games you want to play. I can't defend this. How can anyone defend this shit? How? Remember, the Fever already got in trouble this season. They got a warning, rather. It was like a previous game. I forget what game it was, but they said like an hour before the game started, oh, Caitlin's not playing. Like, bro, you're not LeBron yet. You're not Michael Jordan yet. You haven't won anything. You don't get to do stuff like this yet. Like, bro, once you get like a ring or two, sure, you can get away with the diva type moves. This is crazy. Go ahead, be upset with me. I don't give a f. This is weird. What the f are we doing? I'm gonna read this to y'all. Yahoo Sports just reported Fever head coach Stephanie White announced the status of Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston for Indiana's back-to-back games versus the LA Sparks and Phoenix Mercury. Now listen to this. It says Caitlin Clark is available to play Wednesday, so today, but she's already ruled out for the Thursday game against the Mercury.
But Tony, pause that for a second.
You rule somebody out
I
prematurely.
want to do it a couple of times just so people hear.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, but if they're back-to-back games,
go ahead. No.
But if they're back-to-back games, because I think I heard that because I was responding to someone in the chat. I don't necessarily agree with it myself, but under the guise of injury, if the two games are back-to-back, it would be understandable why if someone had a bad back, why they wouldn't play the second game in a row if they're back-to-back. Right. So that's actually plausible and makes sense. Now, if the other game was 2 nights later, or 3 nights later, then yeah, his argument would be valid. But if they're back-to-back games, I can understand why you wouldn't play her the second game. Now we all know it's BS. We all know it's BS. But under the guise of injury, you could understand why if someone was coming off a bad back, you wouldn't play them two games in a row. Would you agree,
let's
Tony?
read no cap space. Yeah, I agree. Because sometimes you just need a break, or within those games you just minimize their play, right? So they have, but when you're injured, it's just different. It says Skylar Diggins has officially entered the chat. The sky can't just get out of their own way. Once again, a star player expressing a displeasure with the organization that stems, it seems, from a pattern of bad communication. You had a GM, Jeff Pagliosha, with a very clear allegiance to another star guard in Courtney Vandersloot, who just so happens to have returned right as the problem started. Marsh, who has dealt with his own share of skeptics this year, doesn't seem like the type of personality who thrives in this kind of environment. In some ways, this feels reminiscent of Chris Copeland's short stint with the Dallas Wings last season. While it's fun to point and laugh at the absurdity of it all, I do feel for Chicago Sky faithfully. There's always a promise of tomorrow that you're sold, and a bunker mentality around anything resuming criticism that you have to deal with. Independent owners who buy and large, and it says and large, who by and large have been great stewards of their teams, have to be guilty Association, as the Sky continues to prove themselves incapable of rising to the occasion required by this new collective bargaining agreement. You need to, you need, let's see, you need two hands now to count the amount of players that have openly expressed issues with the franchise. At some point, it's not everyone else's fault, which is absolutely true. Let's see, Clarky's impersonate any fabulous tied to Angel and says negative things. No one falls for that. Exactly. Okay, here's another one. And let's see. In updates, holidays can very well destroy a locker room. That's what they're saying. That she can very well destroy a locker room, and she's going to be going up against what appears to be a united front in Vandersloot, Marsh, and Pagliosha. That's not a good recipe for being the playoff team you expected to be at the start of this season. Eventually, it may get right in Chicago, but for now, I wouldn't fault you if you just cashed in your chips on this team. Ever being fundamental under the current ownership group. This is insane. I don't know. So, do you smell a trade coming when it comes to Skylar Diggins, MSL, and chat? I'm asking the chat too because
I mean, outside of them feeling they fail by trading her, they should, because if she doesn't want to play and she's on PTO time or whatever, they'll have no choice but to trade
Look
her.
at this, y'all. I'm sorry.
What's it say? Or is that Pow Pow?
It says Angel and Camilla. No, that's your girl Skylar. It says Angel and Camilla never should have been drafted together in the first place. Spoon should have gotten at least 2 more years to make it work. She even seemed to hold the key to coaching Kennedy Carter. I don't know what that means. This is funny. Oh, damn. Somebody say, damn, last year all over again. Way to pee.
But here's the interesting thing, though. The Sky does not seem to care how bad they look, because they did all of this 2 months ago when the season started, and Skylar has already complained at least twice, right? And in the first 2 weeks, they were quick to go to the media to defend themselves. But now when they have real issues and real embarrassment and stuff like last year, all of a sudden they all disappear. I mean, Tyler with a T gave that press conference the other day, and he seemed like a sad suck puppy dog man that just lost his girlfriend. Like his woman just dumped him on, like, like in a supermarket, and threw cake on him and threw the cart on the floor, and then walked out and then kissed some dude in front of her that was in the aisle watching, and walked out with him. I mean, like, or someone just took his dog. Like, he just looked bad. Eyes look all teary and watery. I mean, he's a straight up, you don't want to say it, but he's a straight up yes man, and it's very unfortunate.
Well, I'm gonna get ready. We're gonna get ready to get out of here in just a second. But before we go, I want to end with our girl Angel. I'm gonna play the music, and then of course when I put it, I'm gonna have to go back to YouTube and mute the music, but I'm gonna play it because I like the sound that's with it. All right, let me get to it. Where'd it go? Here we go. And then we're gonna get out of here.
and the production. They have floor level camera angles.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I just had to put that up there. That was our girl. We're gonna get ready to get up out of here, y'all. I know ADP, you just had a hard time
with her internet
staying up here. I did want to make sure I put that up there. One other question has the deserving players in the reserve. Do you feel like those were legit reserve players? I think I spoke about it yesterday that there are 2 players that could have been different. However, because there's 2 other players that played extremely well. So what are your thoughts? Because you were in a chat, but I don't remember what you said.
You asked me a question, or you asking the chat?
I'm asking you and the chat.
No, I'm sorry. I was reading one of the comments. What was the question? Sorry.
Oh, the question was, who do you feel was snubbed for the All-Star?
Well, initially I felt that Brittany
reserve. Who was snubbed when it came to the reserve?
Initially, I felt it was Brittany Sykes. I was very, very strong about that, but I was happy to hear that when Kelsey Plum didn't play, that Brittany Sykes replaced her, because I really, really thought she deserved that nod. So I'm glad that she got it. And for those who don't like when injured people are picked, believe it or not, when injured people are picked, it actually spreads the wealth. Because even though you feel that injured person shouldn't be picked, well, they get the nod and then they step out. It's only the right thing to do, and it brings someone else in, who does get the nod, and that was Brittany Sykes. I think as poor as Phoenix played, I do think that either AT or her partner, Kai Copper, should have made the team, either one or both. I know you have to make some decisions when you do that, but I thought one of them should have represented Phoenix. Yeah, they sucked this year so far, but they're defending runner-ups from the previous year. So show them that respect,
y'all. I like that, but we're gonna get ready to get out of here.
And Shakira
and Austin. Yes, absolutely. I just think that we get down to it at the end of the day, based on the question again that's asked, like what is it that we deem is,
and I don't think Malanga should have been there. Hell no.
Yeah, no, Malanga, it's one of those situations where I don't know why.
Malanga's goofy.
I mean, she just it's not that, it's just that she didn't play long enough to me this season. And if we're doing it based on seasons and what they've done from game 1, even preseason up to now.
And when I say goofy, the things that the haters try to say about Angel when they try to go, oh, she's clumsy, this, that, I just laugh or roll my eyes. I see that with Malanga, because I don't like Malanga. She just seems like there are no moves with Malanga. Her handles, whether going full court or in the half court, are not that good. Because she's tall, she can catch the ball and shoot over people or jump over people, but she doesn't have the low post game that Miller has. And a lot of people say Miller's low post game is lacking, but Miller has a better low post game than her, and she doesn't have the front or face in the basket, game either. So I just feel Malanga's game is so immature.
Yeah, and so I mean, with that's been, she's young. It's gonna look like that because she's young, but I don't.
Why not give it to Shakira?
And that's gonna actually be another show when we get to talking about the difference of Malanga and the difference post players. Because again, like I said, it's time to get up out of here. I said I was gonna start limiting my show to 2 hours. Right now it's 2 hours 13 minutes. I gotta get my butt up off of here. But the question was, the WNBA at a crossroads. They're at a crossroads when it comes to, and I'm just going to respond to this, and I'm going to just kind of mute you a little bit, MSL. It's at a crossroad when it comes to the situation when they will not treat all the players fairly when it comes to situations like what happened a week ago. And then there's been several players after that and before that went through the same thing. So that's why I said that they're at a crossroads when it comes to, is this the greatest season that the league has in history. I think that it's when it comes to elevating the league, it is the best. It will be the greatest season, but it's going to be from the elevation point, not the fact that they are just they've evolved so much that it's just the best season that the W has absolutely ever sustained. That is not so. You've had intangible players that played extremely hard, didn't get into all of this hoopla, fighting back and forth. And yes, no, there wasn't as eyes on it like it is now. And so we say with having social media and all these other things, it makes it so. However, the elevation of the season to me is what's giving the history growth for it. But is it the best of the best? No. I think that the best of the best is when you're allowing these ladies to play. You ref the game accordingly, and then we move on. New stars are emerging every single day, and we have to make sure that we put them out there, because it's not just about one player. It's not just about two players. It's about all the players in the league. But those that are emerging, like coming in the league, Olivia Miles and all those different players coming in and just really enjoying themselves, has done a phenomenal job. So the franchise are they're pretty much expanding in that horizons. Like I said, there's more players coming up in the league. Can't wait to see what those players do and what they become while in the league. So players benefiting from historic investments that have taken place, and fans are seeing the league from a reach of new heights. So, and that comes from the money, that comes from the CBA, all of the different things that they've gotten, having shared revenues. That's where the heighten of the league is. And of course, we're all appreciative of that. I'm glad that the players are getting what they're worth. It's extremely important for that. And then the next chapter is already being written right now when we look at all of these different things, and then the different exciting things that we're getting to watch, and things unfold like Flage. We knew that she would come in the league and she would flourish, but to this extent, I thought that there would be some time where she would have to grow a little bit more, but she stepped in the role, and she still needs to grow, but the role that she stepped in and how she's performing is extremely astonishing. I love seeing that for the rookies. So if you absolutely, truly enjoyed this show and you have not hit the like button and you have not subscribed, please make sure you hit that like button. Hit the sub button. There's a notification bell. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop. But also, once this video is over, I need you to go back to the video, hit the three little buttons that's going to be next to the arrow, next to the like button, and hit the hype button to hype this video. I need this video hyped from everybody in here. Make sure you go and do that. Now, again, with that being said, thank you for coming on over to CourtVision with SoPrettyToni, hanging out with me for this 2 hours and 17 minutes. I have done a great job because, look, I cut it short, y'all. I'm not making it 3 hours. On Friday, we definitely going to cut it to 2. But with that being said, thank you all for coming. Chat, you're always amazing. Next time, you better put some super chats in that dang on chat so I can come back and look at my super chats. You got to give me some super chats. It's important. Now, again, I'm telling you right now, go hit the like button and sub. Also hit that notification bell, but then go back and hit the hype button. It is what it is. With that being said, guys, I'm out of here. This is CourtVision with SoPrettyToni, and we are rocking steady. I will catch you on the next reading.
All right, Tony.
Got you, Marcel.